So there's some debate on the value of a 360 feedback assessment. And in my opinion, part of that is because people make some simple mistakes. So this is the final video in this 5-part series on 360 feedback for leaders. Up to this point, we've talked about what a 360 is, how to prepare for one, how to read the feedback without getting defensive, and how to turn that feedback into actionable behavior change. But even when leaders go through that process well, there's still a few common mistakes that can completely undermine the value of a 360. So let's talk about the ones I see most often. In my work with leaders going through a 360 assessment, I've noticed something interesting. Very few people struggle with the actual mechanics of the process. Where things get difficult is what happens after the report arrives. How leaders interpret that feedback, what they choose to focus on, and what they actually change afterward. That's where the real development happens. And it's also where a few common mistakes tend to show up. Mistake number 1, treating the data like a list of flaws to fix. One of the most common reactions to a 360 report is immediately scanning for what's wrong, what needs fixing, what needs improvement, what should you stop doing. Some organizations, unfortunately, even reinforce this mindset. The attitude becomes find the weakness and eliminate them. And type A leaders, kind of like me, tend to feed on this. They zero in on the development areas and ignore their strengths completely. But the reality is that your strengths are what got you here, what got you to where you are in your career. Those strengths are also what are going to help you grow. Leadership development isn't about eliminating everything that isn't perfect. It's about learning or leaning really into your strengths and leveraging them to improve the areas where you struggle. I don't believe that you get stronger by correcting weaknesses. Like, you get stronger by leveraging your strengths, period. Mistake number 2, trying to change everything at once. Please, please, please don't try to address every piece of feedback at the same time. A 360 report can contain dozens of comments and multiple themes. If you try to fix all of them, nothing is going to change. Behavior change works much better when it's focused. So pick one pattern in the feedback that would make the greatest impact if it changed. Work on that first. Small, consistent changes compound over time. Mistake number 3, treating the report as if it's the finish line. It is surprising the number of organizations that run a 360 assessment and then stop right there. The report is delivered, the person reads it, and then everyone moves on. But the report isn't the outcome. It's the starting point. The real value of a 360 comes from the reflection, the conversations, and the behavior change that follows it. Without that, it's just a document. And 4th, doing the process in isolation. The final mistake is trying to process this feedback alone. Leadership development rarely happens in isolation. Whether it's a coach or a mentor or a trusted colleague or peer, having someone help you reflect on the feedback and translate it into action can make such the difference. Because it's often easier for someone else to see patterns in the feedback and help you realize, again, where your strengths can be used and leveraged to support this growth. When used well, I believe a 360 assessment can be one of the most powerful leadership development tools available. It gives you insight into how you land, and that third-party perspective is incredibly valuable. But the real impact comes from what you do with the feedback. Again, it's that reflection, the behavior change, and the habits that you build and integrate over time into your day-to-day. So if you found this series helpful, please do subscribe for more leadership insights. And if you are a leader considering a 360 feedback assessment or trying to make sense of one you've already received, I hope this series gives you a practical way to approach it.